Okay, so I got her running again. At least I had her running. Just kind of sort of running now. Obviously, I'm still having a few issues, but she continues to run. Lights work. Nope, some of them. But I actually made it out of the parking lot and took a trip around the parking lot across the street. But I really suck at this and apparently don't have the right tools. So I'm going to end up taking it over to my local mechanic, the one that's actually any good. Turn lights off. The switch is just over there. But I had to take it off to pull the dash apart because that little switch there got disconnected, and that's the electric priming fuel pump under there. So then I have my nice hitch pin holding the column shifter on. Oh! She dying. She dying. Oh, she did. Going backfire? You going backfire? No? Alright. Well, luckily for me, it's starting to rain. Now it's really starting to rain. I locked the door before I shut the hood. I get to go back and do that. Sorry, I locked the door before I opened the hood. I always park the truck with the battery disconnected. Not for security or anything, just so I don't have to charge the battery every time I go out here, because this thing is an electrical clusterfuck. I mean, it's pretty terrible. Oh, yep, looks like I ran out of gas. So, I've had this thing running like 3 hours and I've put like 12 gallons of gas into it. So, that kind of tells you how efficient this old 460 is. And with all the holes in the floorboard, you can really smell that it's burning oil. Now, a little tidbit that I suppose I learned, I had never really considered before. When I tore the vinyl out of the floor, I had to put the transfer case shifter in neutral to get it up and over and get it off the boot without tearing the boot up. So I put it in neutral and forgot to put it back in too high. So I played with the carburetor a little bit and got it running okay, faster. You know, I bought a tachometer, but it's complete Chinese garbage and says it's spinning like 6,000 RPM when it's actually doing like 2,500. But anyway, so I put it in gear to see what would happen, to see if it would maintain, and it did nothing. Like, the RPM didn't change, absolutely nothing changed. So I was just like, okay, what's going on here? And so, like, alright, well, let me throw it back in park. I go to throw it back in park, and it just makes that awful grinding noise that only happens when you're dumb enough to put it in park while you're rolling. But I wasn't rolling, I was sitting there still. You can see where this is going. So I had left the transfer case in neutral. So it was spinning the transmission. It just wasn't going anywhere. So when I tried to put the transmission back in park, it was spinning and couldn't do it. So I realized what happened, so I was just like, okay, I'll throw throw the transfer case back in too high. But this thing is really old school. I think it's a BorgWarner 1345. Won't shift on the fly. You have to be in neutral. And since the transmission was spinning and I had no way to stop it, and I couldn't shift the transfer case out of neutral, it took me a few seconds to realize that I had to shut the truck off and then put it in park and then turn it off, shifted the transfer case into too high, and then shifted the transmission into park. So, as my current theme, that's what I screwed up this time, because that's what I do in every video. It's just a recap of all my screw-ups and the one or two things I might have managed to actually do right. But it's beautiful. I don't know if the video will pick it up. Oh yeah, there we go. I actually got it to do a little bit of a burnout. It was pretty sad because it's wet, but beautiful nonetheless. It's never done that since I've owned it. I smell smoke, but I don't see smoke. You're probably alright. Probably. I mean, I guess I'll go move my car. If it catches on fire, my car won't be next to it. So, at least there's that. But yeah, well, anyway. Yeah, everybody have a good 3 or 4 weeks until I make another video. Or have enough money to go get this taken to the shop. And then make another video. I don't even know if you guys like this, but I seem to do a walk around every time because I have no one important piece to talk about. So I'm also going to get that window there fixed. They broke that side of the window, so they just stuck a piece of plexiglass in there without any sealing. So it stays moist in there all the time. Anyway, I'll stop ranting and let y'all go about your business. Alright, have a good day, y'all.